Here we have some Plebidonax deltoides, sometimes known as Donax deltoides. Officially now though as Plebidonax deltoides. Over here are some Eugarys with the right hand side of the shell uppermost, and here we have some Eugarys with the left hand side of the shell uppermost. In fact, these Eugarys only have one shell remaining. Now, it has been said by Dr. Douglas Calais and others that the Eugary is rarely found in this condition, that is, the left-handed shells, or the left side of the bivalve, and they're mostly found in this form, the right-hand side. That's not alive, that's dead, and with only one shell remaining. Now, anecdotally, this does seem to be true, and even scientifically, this collection at random from a group of Eugarys is 41 Eugarys, this collection 13. So we've got around about 3 times as many right-handed shells as we do left-handed shells. If this is the case, what could be the reason? Well, let's first look at fishing. Fishing involves smashing the Eugary against a reel, and I don't think anybody pays much attention to the alignment of the Eugary when they're doing this. But let's just presume that this is a comfortable way of holding the Eugary for a right-hander. This seems natural. It seems like that's the fat part of the shell. And you've got your reel here, and you've got your left hand, and you go whack, and that will break the right-hand side of the shell, and we'll be left with the left-hand side of the shell, and you throw the right-hand side away, scoop the Eugary out. If that was the case, this would result in more left-hand shells than right-hand shells, but that does not seem to be the case. I don't think people would normally hold it this way with and then whack it. So I don't think it's fishing that does it. Of course, to do this scientifically, we have to look at the fishing habits of a number of people, and I'm not going to do that. I don't want to talk to them for a start. So we'll have to use kind of more remote science. Now, I do have some more left-handed shells, which I collected by means of smashing the right-hand side off and then keeping the left-hand shells to try to influence the number of left-hand shells that might be floating around. If we had a concerted campaign, and this method of smashing and this method of removing the right-hand side of the shell might have an effect over time, it may not. Let's presume that it's already having an effect and it's not having much of an effect, and the right-hand side of the shell over here are much more likely to be found washed up on a beach. What could be the reason? Well, the first thing that I thought of after the fishing was that the shell has a light side and a heavy side. This may vary. It might be that perhaps 5 times as many shells have the right-hand side lighter, and might not be. But I conclude that it's very unlikely for the muscles to be attached to only one side because of the scarring of the adductor muscle on both the right-hand sided shell and the left-hand sided shell. Now, what would be the advantage of having anyway a strong side and a light side, or a heavy side and a light side? It might be that it puts everything on angle, and that's more useful than being perfectly symmetrical. In other words, you can slither into the sand at an angle without having to choose which angle to slither in by the manipulation of your foot, which you can do by contracting muscles and by blood pressure. If you are plebidonax deltoides, that is. So what we have here is a full living Eugary. This was collected last night at around about 4 o'clock on Main Beach at Stradbroke Island. And let's have a look inside to see what's going on. We'll have a go at it and try and get our oyster knife in there and slice through the adductor muscle. As you can see, the adductor muscle is there and there on that side. I don't think we can say that the Eugary attaches only to one side of the shell. It's quite clear that it attaches to both sides of the shell. These are the siphons that have branching tops. This is the stomach, this is the muscular foot. I hope you can all see that. It's very nutritious, quite tasty. I'm not going to demonstrate eating it right now because we have science to do of a different kind. So the question then remains, is one side naturally heavier or stronger than the other? Now we could, if we wanted to, go and weigh these and we could come up with this conclusion that that one is more heavy or heavier than this one, which is the right-handed side of the shell. Just by weighing it in my fingers, I can't really tell any difference. But and I'm not going upstairs to get some scales, so you can forget that. This is as far as we've got with our science. Let's have a look to see if we can determine which adductor muscle looks bigger or whether it's unbalanced in any way. No, it looks pretty symmetrical to me. So what do we do now? I think we play with the tackle. Wait, if it may please the court, we have another item of evidence to produce, and that is art. Art of a very strange sort, really. Now, if you look at this assemblage of shells, which represent a mermaid's lower half, you will see that there are 30 right-handed shells and yet 26 left-handed shells. Many more than we have ever seen in nature on the beach washed up in terms of left-handed shells. So yesterday we did a collection of 20 right-handed shells to 1 left-handed shell. Now, it could be that artists wanting to maintain balance between good and evil, or left and right, or whatever they are thinking of at the time, could be going out of their way to collect left-handed shells, and if they were already rare, then this is just about going to clean them all up. So I think we can blame artists. That's it.